New crew, if you're new, my name's Cassandra. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. Today we are starting off with canning some kosher dill pickles. These are my family's go-to pickles. These are the only pickles we really like, upon the occasional sweet and spicy pickle that my son really likes and honestly just devours. But my oldest was in the kitchen with me this morning. The younger kids were all watching Bluey, just kind of hanging out, and she knew I wanted to get this batch of pickles in, so she wanted to hop in and help me. I taught her last year how to make pickles, so this year was just kind of like a refresher course for her, and it was really fun to get her in the kitchen with me. So we ended up getting 6 pints of pickles done. She sliced up all of our homegrown onions, also homegrown dill. I put garlic in our jars, a little bit of alum. That is the key for crunchy pickles, crispy pickles, even if they've been on the shelf a long time. We're eating pickles back from 2021 and they are still crisp because of that alum. So she did all the prepping for me. I packed the jars, wiped lids, put rings on and stuff, and got them in the canner. These water bath can for 15 minutes. Because these only water bath can for 15 minutes, it is a really quick, easy project. I would highly recommend pickles as a starter project. It's very easy. I don't put all of my additives in my brine and kind of bake it on the stove or cook it on the stove like a lot of other people do. I was taught to just kind of put all of those additives, my garlic, my onion, my dill, your alum, whatever you want to put in your jars, and then pack your pickles in your jars on top of those things and just pour the brine over top. I like to do that because then every pack of pickles tastes the same. Every pack of pickles has the exact same ingredients, and I really like it that way. I just put in a little scoop of garlic, a couple handfuls of an onion, a big sprig of dill. It's absolutely delicious. The next morning when I went to go put those away, it was very early in the morning. It was like 5 a.m. My house was still quiet, and I thought, you know what? Now's a good time to get all the rings off my jars. So many of you will be very happy to know that I did this. I get comments on this all the time that I need to take the rings off. It has been a project that I've wanted to get done, but this somehow, oddly enough, always falls on the priority list near the bottom. But it was a quiet morning. I had my coffee, was still in my pajamas, and I thought, you know what? Now's the time. It's now or never. So I took the time to take all of the rings off of my jars. You guys can clap for me in the comments. I'm sure you guys will be more elated than I am that those rings are finally off. I did check all of my jars for failed seals, and luckily I did not have any, so that wasn't an issue. Later that morning, after the kids woke up, we went outside. I did a garden harvest. I walked through all of my tomatoes and I cut off all of my broccoli side shoots. And some of my side shoots were actually really big. I've had some small ones this season, but I don't know if it's because I haven't been out here for a day or two or if they just kind of really sprouted on me, but I had some big side shoots this time. Taking my time to make sure that I'm collecting all of my tomatoes even if they're not fully ripened. I take mine right as they blush, just because otherwise sometimes the chickens will try to get in here to get my tomatoes, or we have gophers and chipmunks and all sorts of things that'll get in here and take my tomatoes. So I try to take them right as they are blushing. We took those tomatoes inside and made a beautiful pasta salad, and then we went away for the afternoon. I just got back from my in-laws' house, and every like 3 months or so, they always go to Woodman's and they stock up on these big like tubs of food. I don't really know how much is in here. 6.6 pounds. So that's quite a bit. But they do these every so often. According to my husband, they have done these since they had kids. Just a little backstory. My in-laws had 7 children. So they always had a really big garden. My husband tells me it was a 4-acre garden they took care of between themselves and all of the kids. They raised their own pork. I don't think they ever did cows, but they all had chickens and things like that. So they have been... My husband's lived the homesteading lifestyle pretty much his entire life, except the time we were military. But they always went to Woodman's to get these big tubs of things to have as a backup, just in case they had a bad harvest one year and they couldn't can like all their pasta sauces or their pizza sauces or tomatoes or things like that. And then I'm sure you know, as having 7 kids, they also went through these big things of fruit very often. My mother-in-law said when she had all the kids at home, she could open these cans and they would eat through them in a week. She would open it, just keep it in the fridge, bring it out for every meal, and within a week the kids would eat this. So it just kind of is the thing. But they've gotten so used to doing that for, I don't know, 25, 30 years while they were raising kids, that they still do that, and sometimes they buy too much. So I was over there today and they said, hey, help us clean out our pantry and use some of this stuff. Everything here is still in date except this tropical fruit, which we'll talk about here, but everything else is still within expiration date, but it's coming up on it. And they said, hey, we're not going to go through all of this. So we kind of went shop happy. So take some of this home, put it on your shelf, because you and the kids, us having 4 kids, they know that we'll go through this stuff. So we're starting off, we have 4 things of pizza sauce, and we've talked about my tomatoes. I'm nervous about it. So having all this is amazing. This should be a whole lot of pizza sauce for us if it comes down to it when I open these, because obviously we're not going to go through a whole 6 pounds of pizza sauce in a pizza night. I can take these, either put these in Ziploc bags and freeze them for portions of pizza, or I can take this out of the jar, put it into my own jars, and recan it that way according to my pressure canner's instructions. So I got 4 of these. These are all within the date. These are good until April of 2025. So this is a lot. These are good to go. Another thing that they get as like a fun thing, for their kids, is this cheese sauce. And they would do chili cheese fries, chili dogs, nacho night, and she said same thing. She would just open this up, put it in the fridge, and they would eat off of this like all month long, and they would just do all of the cheese things for like a month, and that's how they got rid of it. Another thing they gave me was a big tub of mandarin oranges here, once again 6 pounds. My kids will demolish this, especially the baby. I might actually have to ration this, but once I open this, it can stay in the fridge and the kids can eat off of it, or I can always open this, put these in our 4-ounce mason jars, especially with school right around the corner, and kind of prep these in lunchbox sized containers for the kids, and they can have them that way. They use them as snacks. That's what my mother-in-law said she used to do for the kids. So there's that. The other thing they buy in bulk, we'll come back and talk about the bag in a second. I have 2, so 12 pounds total. Oh, these are 7 pounds. So I have 14 pounds total of chocolate pudding. She said that it's just force of habit for her to buy these when she sees them. They've only been empty nesters for about 5 years now, not even 4 years. 5 years is when their last kid left the house. So they're still trying to learn how much to buy, when to buy, because they like to have this stuff on the shelf for the grandkids too. So they're trying to figure that out. They bought too much chocolate pudding. This is also good until 2025, but they said, hey, with school right around the corner, why don't you take these chocolate puddings? The kids will love them. So I have 14 pounds of chocolate pudding to add to the shelf, which is great. And then we kind of talked about this. This is expired. This expired in 2022. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with this yet. This might end up just going to the chickens, or I might just keep it on the shelf. We're going to see what happens. But this is 6 pounds of tropical fruit salad. Before I realized it was expired. I might open it. I'll take a look at it. If it smells good, it looks good, we'll probably eat it. If it doesn't, it'll go to the chickens. But if this is good, I'm probably just going to throw this in smoothies or make popsicles out of this and get it in the freezer right away. That way it's not like continuing to sit and could potentially go bad if I open it and it still looks good. I'm sure I'm going to get comments on it. You just do what is best for your family, and I'm going to do what I feel is best for mine. And if you wouldn't eat expired food, that's totally fine. If you don't like that I'm feeding my family, possibly feeding my family expired food, that can be your opinion, and I can respect that. But we'll see how this looks when I open it. Mother-in-law also sent me home with a bunch of her brown bananas. She goes, you'll make banana bread, right? I said, absolutely. So she sent me home with, I don't know, I think there are like 6 or 7 bananas in here. I'm just going to peel them, throw them in the freezer. These can be banana bread, banana muffins, banana pancakes, smoothies, popsicles, whatever. Recently the kids have been really liking when I slice bananas, drizzle them with chocolate, and put them in the freezer, or you can also dip them in yogurt and put them in the freezer, and the kids use them as like little frozen banana snacks. So that's what we've been doing a lot this summer. Their apple tree was ready, so not only my kids but some of my nieces were there today, and they all brought home, or we brought home a big bag of apples. So we have almost a full Woodman's paper bag full of apples. Some of them are not good. My 1-year-old was picking apples up off the ground and throwing them in the bag. She was having a blast with it. So whatever ones aren't good, I will give to the chickens. They will gladly enjoy them, or I'll put them in the compost pile or something. But a lot of these are, other than the bug damage, pretty good. We were eating them while we were there, having a snack. They were great. So I've got a big bag of just like really cute little apples, perfect for some of my smaller kids. But that was my impromptu grocery haul when I came home from my in-laws. So this makes me feel really good, especially the pizza sauce. I was really worried about my tomatoes, and now I don't feel as pressured to do pizza sauce. So now I know whatever I get out of the garden for tomatoes, I'm probably just gonna make salsa and spaghetti sauce with, and fall back on these tubs of pizza sauce for the year, because these are 6 pounds each. 6 times 4, 24 pounds of pizza sauce. That should easily get me through the year of pizzas and strombolis and calzones and all sorts of things. So I feel really great about this. So this morning I took some time to clear out a strip of the bed where we actually originally had spinach. I did do a second planting, but I think it was just too hot. It couldn't take, nothing came up. I don't even really know if it germinated, but nothing came up. So I went to Menards and I got 2 more variety of spinach. This is different than what I grew the first time. I really liked what I grew the first time. I have 2 gallons in the freezer. I'm really hoping to get to like 5 or 6 gallons of spinach in the freezer. I go through quite a bit of it in the wintertime because it's so easy to just throw in a couple of handfuls in pastas or in really absolutely anything. I love to throw a couple handfuls of spinach in, especially when we're doing venison. I think spinach and venison pairs so well together. I could eat venison every day. Members of my family would disagree with that, but I love venison steaks with like cream gravy and spinach. I could have that all the time. So we're gonna be planting a double choice hybrid and a big Ruffles hybrid in the exact same spot we originally had some spinach. Obviously we took a really big break. I came out here this morning, worked on a couple of things. I intended to bring the kids to the park, but every park from here to a couple towns, I drove through a handful of small towns. Every single park I drove through was booked for some sort of party. So we didn't end up going there. I ended up just heading over to my in-laws' house, obviously, and we hung out there. It actually worked out. We got to hang out for a while. Obviously, I got some canned goods to bring home and some bananas and apples and things that we talked about. So it worked out. It's 5 o'clock now. My kids probably are not going to want to eat dinner because Nana and Papa brought us out. They bought everybody ice cream cones, and it was just a really great day. So everybody's hanging out. Everyone's just kind of out in the yard running around a little bit, and I am going to get these planted. I would also like to get some more diatomaceous earth on some of my plants because I was in there this morning and I saw that the squash bugs have moved over from the pumpkin vines that we took out together in the last couple of videos, and they have now moved over to my pickling cucumbers, which is the last place I want them. So I'm going to put some more diatomaceous earth on them, hopefully deter the squash bugs at least a little bit. They are too bad for me to go in and try to shake off into soapy buckets of water. So at this point it's a Hail Mary. I did can a little bit of pickles, so if that's all I get this season, that is okay. I have enough pickles carried over from last year where we will be okay and I still won't have to buy pickles, but the selfish part of me wants more. So we'll see if that goes. If anything, I just want to try to keep them contained so they don't keep spreading out into everything, because they're only on one plant right now, and if I can keep them there, that's what I'm going to do. Thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day to hang out with me. I hope you enjoyed this video, doing a little bit of homesteading chores, a little bit of preserving, some harvesting, and talking about some bulk food storage for my large family. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I will catch you guys in another one.